Okay, cool. So lower mills, blinds, and shades. So this is Lori's website. So first thing that I notice, logo top left, and then in the top right is some navigation related items. I do not see a phone number. So that would be my first pointer right off the bat for sure, is that you should always have a phone number. Typically that's top right. And that is a click to call phone number. So in other words, if you mouse over it, you can click it. That's very important for mobile visitors that are visiting your site and just want to reach out to you. The reason we put a phone number up there, quite honestly, is for all the other things that you're probably doing externally. So maybe you're going to a networking event, or you're handing out business cards, or those kinds of things, and people are aware of your business and they just want to find your website to give you a call. So don't make it hard for them to do that. Very easy for people to make their decision very quickly, or just get a referral from somebody else, have to go find your phone number, and you should make it as easy as possible, obviously. So top right, I would have a phone number. Then as you scroll down the page, I'm noticing that the top navigation doesn't stay up there. So we call that a sticky navigation. So as you scroll down, the top navigation, which I think was just services and about, that should always stick at the top of the page along with your logo and your phone number. Those things should always be there. That way, no matter how far somebody is down through your website, there's always a next step for them. They always have the phone number there available. They always know where they're at, and they have an obvious next step. Pick up the phone, give us a call. Alternatively, or additionally, you could have a button in the top right that is something like set an appointment, set your appointment. And that button should be a drastically different color from the rest of your site. So basically something that draws your eye to it. So in this case, since the site is pretty much gray tones, almost any color would work, blue or green or orange or something like that. Some sort of button in the top right that is an obvious next step would be great. So that is very important. Having that sticky navigation, and then having some sort of a call to action or next step as you scroll through the site, that's always something that they see. So, all right, let's scroll down through this page. Just want to look and see how much content is here overall. So there's 6 or 8 words. There's another 6 or 8. Discover the perfect solution, what we offer. Now, a lot of these are graphics, and I bet Google doesn't see them. So Google will see this with over 2 decades of experience. That's great. And then I see contact our expert team. We've got a form on the page. The form is first name, last name, email, and message. One thing you could do with your form is change that to say, tell us about your project or something like that, instead of just message. I think that would be better and a better prompt for somebody who's filling out this form, because message, they could just type in there, call me or contact me. Actually, now I notice there's no phone number in this form either. I would definitely add a phone field in here as well. Now, also right in this contact our team section here is the first time I see any mention of location. If you're located in Quincy, Milton, or anywhere in greater Boston, don't hesitate to contact us. So one thing that you're missing near the top of the page is some information on what you do and where you are, right? So when somebody lands on your page, and quite honestly, when they land on any page on your site, one of the first things they should see is whatever that page is about. In this case, your number one keyword is probably going to be something like window treatments Boston, window treatments Quincy, window treatments Milton, probably Boston, because that is the big city that you're close to. Then some of the smaller cities could be on other pages on the site. So that should be front and center. This is the first time I see that it was mentioned. So Google's going to have a tough time knowing where you're at, what this site is about. And we want to make sure they know this website is about window treatments in the Boston area. Those 2 things are highly important. So All right. If we scroll down a little more, I see location. That's good. If you do have a real address, put that on here. That definitely should be in the footer. That's going to send another signal to Google about your location. Just mentioning the service areas isn't as great as a real address. If this is a work from home type business, then I can understand why you might not want to put your address there. But definitely recommended if you want to. Now here at the bottom, I do see a call to action. Text Larry for custom window treatments. It's almost like an afterthought here. Again, not bright, doesn't draw my eye to it. So it's just not pulling me to know what my next step is here. I do see the phone number finally in the bottom right, the last thing. Let's get that at the top of the page as well. So all right, let's go back up and look and see if there is a like a products page of some sort. I see services. Let's try services and see what's under there. So I wonder if I click this at the top of the page, does it just throw me down? Oh, it does throw me to a separate page. Okay. So this throws me to a page titled services. So once again, this is where you might want to have a better headline that is window treatment services in the Boston area, something like that, instead of just the word services. Then we've got some pictures and some text. It also, I'm not sure if it is. Oh, yeah, it is. There's a couple different fonts going on here. So if we looked at experienced and trusted installer, and then the font under there all matches, but the next one over, which is the title for this section, customized solutions, that's definitely a different one. So there's some inconsistencies here from that standpoint. That, you know, these are small things, but again, they really do help make your brand look a little bit more professional, those kinds of things. So, okay. Are there any pages on this site that talk to specific products? Let's see. Client work, services. Is there a drop down under services? Okay, here we go. So let's try motorized consultation. I bet that just opens up something inside of here. Okay, so my guess is this site is very small when it comes to number of pages. So as time goes on, what's going to happen is Google's going to come to your site. They're going to index your couple pages that you have. And then they're going to earmark it for, let's say, 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, they come back to your site and it's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing's been added to the site. At that point, or in a very short future point after that, Google's going to decide your site is stale. It's not growing. It's not fresh. It's not adding content. And you'll start to lose rankings. If you have any rankings, you'll start to lose those. So one of the things that we do for all of our clients is consistently add content to their site so that every time Google comes back, there's more stuff for Google to digest. There's more information. We're solving more issues for potential customers. So that's a big piece of this. And another part of that is individual product pages. So if you're really wanting to get into the motorization side of things, I would build a page on your site that only spoke about window treatment motorization in the Boston area. And that was the purpose of that page. There was some pictures of motorization, maybe a video of shades going up and down, a map of the Boston area. There's a lot of things you could do to really start sending signals to Google, so that what happens is somebody goes to Google and they type in window motorization near me. If they're in the Boston area, Google's going to dump them to that page. And that's the best scenario. What you don't want people to get dumped to your homepage and have to go find the thing that they're looking for. It would make more sense if Google just told them, here's a page specifically on window treatment motorization in Boston. They land on that page. They say, oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And then they click the set an appointment button. So that's a fantastic scenario. Much easier to do, much better for your Google conversions because they're landing on these internal pages that make the most sense. So, okay, I would definitely work on building some product pages to start. on this website. So hopefully that's enough tips to kind of give you some information on optimizing your site a little bit. Now I'm going to try to share my screen again, and I want to grab this. So you guys should now see my screen here. I'm going to bounce over and make sure. Okay, you guys can see my screen. Cool. So don't know why it started working now, but that's great. So I want to grab this URL and plug this into a tool that I have called Search Atlas. This is a tool that we have that can look at a website specifically from Google's standpoint. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way here. Let's hide that. Let's move me over here out of the way so you guys can see this. All right, now let's plug this into here. So I'm plugging the domain name 𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗦𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥 into this tool. I'm going to click the search button here, and what I'm interested in is how does Google see this site beyond the physical things that I mentioned that you could change on the site. How does Google actually see the signals that are coming from this website? So things we're looking at include backlinks, what kind of ranking they have, those sorts of things. So, all right, so a couple things to notice here. Domain rating is a number from 0 to 100, and that number basically reflects how authoritative your site is online. Now, this one's at a 0, so it can only go up from here. Part of the big reason that it's at a 0 most likely is because it's stale, because it's not growing. It's not adding new content every time Google comes around. It's not feeding the monster, I guess you could say. Now, the next one over here is backlinks, 11. Backlinks are links from other websites pointing back to your site. The more of those you have, the more votes you have for your site, the higher you're going to rank in Google. That directly affects your domain rating as well. So backlinks needs to be in the hundreds and ultimately in the thousands as time goes on. That's a big piece of the pie here. Now, when it comes to actual keywords that you're ranking for, we can actually look at this chart down here at the bottom. I'm going to change this to a 1 year just so we can kind of see. So in March and prior to March of this year, it was ranking for 0 keywords. April 1, May 1, then in June, it jumped up to 4. And then it's just kind of hovered between 3 and 4 since then. So this, again, needs to be in the hundreds and the thousands. The key to this success is the same thing. It's content. Consistently adding new content to your site. Now, there is a difference between going on your website and changing it every couple weeks versus going and adding additional pages or additional content. You can only change your site so much and change the words around, and Google's going to understand what you're doing. What they're really after is more content, more things, more problems that you're solving for visitors. So definitely the missing piece here is content, with backlinks also being another missing piece of this.